Thank you, Gafoni slash Beyonce. It is a true honor to once again share this space and serve as the 2026 IDWIM co-league alongside the incredible Maria Jose Rodriguez. Mining is standing at a defining moment in history. The acceleration of technology, automation, artificial intelligence, and digital transformation is reshaping what is possible across our industry today. But the true measure of innovation will not only be found in the systems we build or the technologies we adopt. It will be determined by how intentionally we bring people, perspectives, and possibilities together to solve the complex challenges ahead. The future of mining requires diverse voices contributing to the design of solutions, ensuring innovation advances not only performance and productivity, but inclusion, opportunity, and sustainable impact. Today's panel discussion is about driving the future of mining through inclusive innovation and technology, and I am so incredibly honored to be joined by three remarkable global leaders, Val, Nelson, and Chami, each who bring a unique journey, expertise, and vision for how we move beyond adapting to change and begin to actively shape the future of our industry. So I'd like to begin with Val. Val, through your work advancing Indigenous inclusion, skills development, and creating pathways into the skills trades, you have seen that meaningful progress requires more than commitments. It requires systems that turn commitments into action and create measurable outcomes. As mining continues to transform through digital technology and innovation, how can technology become a tool to strengthen accountability, advance Indigenous inclusion, and create more transparent and meaningful partnerships for women in natural resources?
Good morning. Thank you, Audrey. Good afternoon. Good day to people around the world. It's my honor to be here. I'm joining you today from the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee Iroquois people, or the Six Nations of the Grand River in the Haldimand Tract from Ontario, Canada. When we talk about technology and the ability that we have to utilize it properly and well in our workspaces, we can certainly see it as a very useful tool that can strengthen accountability within our organizations by providing trackable metrics, if you will. It can provide equitable opportunities for women in the mining sector to access mentorship, coaching, and training by identifying and removing the barriers that might otherwise go unnoticed. And we heard this earlier on the earlier panel as well. I love the expression, open the door, remove the barrier, right? In order for us to be able to identify those barriers, I think we need to be very honest with ourselves. And I think we need to recognize that the potential for barriers to put blockades up, even unknowingly, is something that we need to take a close look at and address. As an example of my own experience in this area, our organization, ISEED, we recently ran a program in a remote northern Indigenous community that successfully graduated 3 Indigenous women as remotely piloted aircraft systems, or RPAS drone pilots. The program provided these women with the opportunity to apply their new transferable skills across many sectors, including mining. So without the use of technology in that capacity, these experiences wouldn't be presented. But even further from that, what we find is that programs such as this one and the innovation that was utilized to create the opportunity also now opens doors in social enterprise, economic development for the community as a whole, and expands opportunities for women to take leadership roles. I think when we take a look at technology, we need look no farther than what we're doing right now. Okay, we have people joining from across the world over a technical platform, and it brings us here together to share our time, to share our stories, to share our space, our knowledge, and our unity. When we talk about women in mining, it's very heartwarming to see how many different places there are in the world that have come together to represent something that is extremely important. I have a little saying that I like to use, especially when I'm bolstering women in any sector, but especially women in mining. Estrogen unite. We can do this. Right? We certainly can do this. And I would just like to close off this question by saying that it has been my long experience in knowing when we take women and we ask them, we invite them actually to enter into non-traditional spaces and roles that women are now starting. We're seeing the overcoming of those particular barriers. But when you lift a woman, you lift her children, you lift her family, you lift her community. And it's a ripple effect. So it doesn't just stop with that one woman who is brave enough to say yes to some of these challenges. It shows an example for everybody that she surrounds and supports as well. So when we talk about technology and the ability to support women on a global scale, we can reach those opportunities from many, many different places and resources and share that knowledge very widely.
Thank you, Val. What really stood out from what you said is it not only connected to Dorena, Carolina, and Raksha and what they shared, but without knowing data, we can't see those barriers. Really great. Thank you, Val. Nelson, I now want to move over to you as the president of EpiRock Americas. The organization has been at the forefront of advancing the future of mining through automation, digitization, electrification, and technologies designed to improve how mining operations perform. As these technologies continue to transform what is possible, there is also a significant human transformation happening alongside the technology, creating opportunities to rethink how women in mining participate and the diverse skills and perspectives needed for the future. So, how do you see EpiRock's approach and their innovation in a way that not only advances operational performance, but also supports gender diversity, capability building, and supporting a more diverse workforce for the future?
Thank you, Audrey. And I'm proud to be here and a happy day. At EpiRock, we are seeing firsthand how automation, electrification, digitalization, and now artificial intelligence, everybody starts talking now about artificial intelligence changing mining. Yeah, the technology is impressive. It is making our operations safer, more productive, more efficient. But one of the biggest lessons we have learned is that technology is usually not the harder part. The human side is. So as technology evolves, people need opportunity to learn, adapt, and build confidence in new ways of working. Innovation is not only about introducing new machine or digital tools. It is also about building capabilities and helping people believe that they belong in the future what we are creating. I think that is key in this conversation. So artificial intelligence is accelerating the fourth industrial revolution faster than many of us expected. Now everything is moving so fast. But because of that, I don't think it's too early to start talking maybe about the fifth industrial revolution. I'm not sure you just start thinking on that. For me, the fifth industrial revolution means putting people back at the center. I think that is key. People back at the center again. It means asking not only how can technology improve performance, but also how can technology help people grow. I think that is key in this conversation. Women should not only participate in the future of mining, they should lead and co-create it. We need new ideas, fresh perspective, leaderships, and different ways for solving problems. So the diversity is not only about fairness, it is also about building a stronger team, making better decisions, and creating better solutions. Personally, I feel this is part of my mission. I really connected with this. So I want to contribute to building a mining industry that is more attractive, more friendly, and open to everyone, an industry where young people dream of being part of it, and where they truly feel they belong. Not because it's look good in a report, everybody's thinking in KPIs and reportability, but because it is the right thing to do, because it matters, and because the future of our industry depends on it. Technology can change mining, but people will decide what kind of future we will get.
Wow. Nelson, you really hit the heart of the matter. It's like if we look at the future, people need to know they belong in that future. And for you, you could hear your purpose is ensuring that people bring the humans back into the center of everything. And I really acknowledge you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Charles, now over to you. I mean, your work experience and the organizations you run is really at the center of so much that we're seeing that's happening today. And innovation is often viewed through the lens of new technology, automation, and digital transformation. However, your work highlights that innovation also depends on creating the right conditions for people to contribute, lead, and succeed. As mining continues to evolve, what do you believe the industry needs to do differently in the way works, opportunities, and systems are designed to ensure women are not only included in innovation, but actively shaping the future of it?
Thank you. Thank you, Audrey, for the question. But before I jump to an answer, I just want to acknowledge that the Center for Excellence in Mining Innovation, who I work for, is headquartered in the Greater Sudbury, Ontario area, which is respectfully acknowledges that it operates in the traditional lands of the Atitmashink Anishinaabeg and the Wanapitei First Nations and Robinson-Huron Treaty of 1850 territory. The territory that I'm broadcasting from is recognized as the traditional home of the Anishinaabe people, who have been guardians and stewards of this land since time immemorial. Audrey, when I hear the question, one of the things that comes up right away is, what must we do differently? And in thinking through this question, I want to gravitate to this. In my role with SEMI and the MICA network that I run here, I spend a great deal of time working with innovators, mine operators, researchers, investors, governments, and entrepreneurs. One thing I've learned is that innovation really fails because of a lack of ideas. We have lots of ideas. The challenge is adoption. Who gets listened to? Who gets ideas funded? Who gets trusted? And also, who gets invited into the room where decisions are being made? And I think that lesson applies not only to technology, but also to people. So as I prepare for this panel, I spoke with women and men from across the mining ecosystem, and one message came through very clearly. What often remains uneven is access to opportunities, sponsorship. And I think the speaker before me mentioned sponsorships as well, networks, capital, and decision-making influence. Mining, like many other industries, operates through circles of trust. And, as human beings, we naturally gravitate towards people we know, suppliers we know, and the ideas that feel familiar. Trust is important, but sometimes, those same circles unintentionally, maybe sometimes even intentionally, prevent new voices and new ideas from being heard. And when that happens, innovation gets stifled, it suffers. So because innovation happens when assumptions are challenged, innovation happens when someone asks a question nobody else thought to ask. Innovation happens when people see opportunities and risks that others may miss, different perspectives. If everyone thinks the same way, innovation becomes very difficult. This is fundamentally a conversation about creating an industry that values different ways of thinking. Women bring different experiences, different perspectives, and different approaches to solving problems. Those perspectives are not something we should ask people to leave at the door. They're exactly what innovation needs. Technology is helping. Things like automation, AI, digital technologies, remote operations, and data-driven decision-making, they're removing barriers that existed a generation ago. Work can increasingly come to people rather than, requiring people to always go to work, to where the work is. That creates opportunities for people to participate and contribute. But technology alone is not enough. We also need social innovation. We spend a lot of time talking about innovation as new technology, but innovation can also be about redesigning how we work, how we lead, how we develop talent, how we govern projects, how we create opportunities, and how we build workplaces that recognize people have different realities and responsibilities while providing pathways to leadership. In many ways, social innovation creates the conditions that allow technological innovation to succeed. We need flexible career pathways. We need transparent opportunities for advancements. We need more sponsorship, not just mentorship. And we need women leading innovation projects, investment decisions, technology deployments, and strategic decisions. Most importantly, we need to move beyond thinking about inclusion as participation. The goal is influence. Influence. The goal is ensuring that different perspectives help shape decisions, because this isn't simply about fairness, it's about competitiveness. If Canada or the industry as a whole wants to lead in the future of mining, we cannot afford to leave talent, ideas, and innovation capacity on the sidelines. So perhaps the question every leader should ask is, who is not in the room today whose perspective could improve this decision? Because the future of mining will not be determined solely by the technology we deploy. It will be determined by our ability to unlock the full potential of the people shaping those technologies. Thank you. Over to you, Audrey.
Charles, thank you. What really stood out from what you shared was excellence really is possible in the questions that are being asked. We need to ask that diversity of thought, and the courage to speak up and share, and be okay with the no's when we're not in the room, and make ourselves be in those rooms. So thank you. Thank you. Val, back over to you. When we look at the future of mining technology, it's often discussed through automation, artificial intelligence, and operational performance. But technology also has the potential to transform how we build relationships, create access, and measure progress. From your perspective, how can digital innovation help ensure women entering trades, mining, technical careers are not only included in future opportunities, but are active participants in shaping, leading, and benefiting from the future of mining?
Thanks, Audrey. I think actually Chamirai might have taken my answer. I didn't think I had sent him my notes, but that's okay. I'm going to follow up because we're on the same wavelength, that's for sure. Firstly, I'd like to start by saying we cannot change what we cannot measure. Okay. Data collection through technology actually allows us to measure outcomes, accessibility, equality, and equity with greater accuracy through an unbiased lens. Okay. The numbers are going to be what the numbers are. That's the beauty of it. We don't need to dispute what we've collected or what we're seeing through the processes that we use. How do we even know what is actually being accomplished without a baseline of information from where we are beginning? So you can't change what you don't know. So understanding where we are at the onset of trying to put effective change and mechanisms in place for inclusion, diversity, and all these other things, it's really important that we need to determine what we have to implement to find that pathway forward and where we need to be. So in order to do that, first we have to understand what we do know and where we are, and then make decisions from that point forward on how to advance, right? If we don't understand at the onset of what it is that we're looking at and respect the knowledge that we do have and accept the knowledge that we don't have, we're never going to find a clear pathway forward in order to implement the results that we're looking for. Okay. Our actions need to be intentional. It cannot be done with bias. It's not about finger pointing. It's not about laying blame. It's about being intentional and understanding who we are as leaders in our own organizations and what we need to implement in order to accomplish a safe, welcoming workplace that is going to benefit everyone. Using digital information, we can collect this unbiased, accurate data and let it do the talking. Right? By measuring what matters most. For example, we can discover what women may want or look for within the mining industry. We can explore different roles and opportunities for women to keep them in our industries. Retention is a very key thing, and it can assist us in identifying barriers to access that. We've heard that before. Those barriers are sometimes they're actually small. But unless we actually take the time to identify what those barriers are and remove them out of the way so it doesn't become that stumbling block, we are going to continue to struggle with retention in our industries. As leaders, and certainly I do this on a regular basis as the executive director of iSeed, I always ask, how is the decision that I make today going to affect my team or the people that work with me tomorrow? Right? Data removes that guesswork for everyone from a single source of truth. Okay. And I also want to share that's what to me is something that's really important is that as I advocate for these spaces where women are not traditionally employed in great numbers, and as I work for an organization that focuses through an Indigenous lens, I think it is important to recognize that when we work and make decisions that improve opportunities and lives for Indigenous people, improve opportunities for women, we are actually making improvements for everyone. It doesn't stop with just that sort of core focus group. These changes are bringing about safer workplaces, safer culture, a host of other things that are going to benefit the collective community where we work. And I think that's extremely important that we look at that. It strengthens our cultures, right? It actually takes a lot of the intersectionalities that we see, and it has them be more acceptable in ways that we can address them from a leadership position to ensure that people are welcome and that they're safe. And actually the one thing that I was going to say, and Chamirai, you beat me to it. Women belong in every room. Every room. Right. So I'm going to advocate for that continually and again, and it's very nice to see counterparts on this panel who hold that same view. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Val. When we look at data and technology and what it can help us do in the space of integrous data, your one statement of a source of truth is really powerful because we get to decide what we want to measure based on what matters to us as an organization and as an industry. So thank you. So Nelson, back over to you. EpiRock is helping shape a future where mines are becoming more connected, automated, data-driven. However, the success of this transformation will not only depend on how advanced the technology becomes, but how effectively people are prepared, included, and empowered through that change. As technology creates new possibilities and changes traditional pathways into mining, what responsibility do technology leaders and mining organizations have to ensure the future of mining advances human potential and expands access for women that evolves at the same pace as technological progress?
Yeah, thank you, Audrey. I think that my initial reflection is leader create opportunities. I think that is my initial reflection, but for sure EpiRock is helping shape a future where mining is becoming more connected, automated, and data-driven. But technology alone will never lead this transformation to succeed. Yeah, people will. So I believe organizations like EpiRock, I'm proud to be part of EpiRock, have an important responsibility. We have a responsibility to create access to learning, to help people develop new skills, to create visible pathways into emerging roles, to sponsor talent and create opportunities for people who may not have seen themselves in a traditional mining career. and especially to help women see that there is a place for them not only to participate, but to lead in this new industry. As recently, artificial intelligence and automation, become part of our daily work today. So we have choice. We can use technology, because I listen to different conversation about some fears about technology now. So for sure, we can use technology to create fears and exclusion, or we can use technology to create opportunities. And often said that the fourth industrial revolution is about making machines smarter. But the fifth, and sorry about insisting on that, because I think it is moving faster now, the fifth industrial revolution is about making humans stronger. For me, this is not just a business conversation. It is a responsibility that all of us who participate in this industry share. Our dream and our duty should be transform mining into an industry where people want to belong, as you reinforced recently, Audrey. An industry that our children are proud of, an industry that attracts talent because it is purpose, it is values, it is positive impact it creates. The future of mining is not only about producing minerals that world needs. Now a lot of discussion due to digitalization, automation, AI, but society depends on those minerals. That means we have responsibility to extract them ethically, with responsibility, and in a way that creates shared benefit for communities and for everyone who is part of this industry. The company that will succeed in the future will not be the ones with the best technology only. They will be the ones that combine technology with humanity, performance with purpose, and innovation with inclusion. Because the future of mining will not be decided by artificial intelligence alone. For sure now everybody's using ChatGPT and other tools, but that is not alone. It will be decided by human wisdom, courage, and our ability to bring people with us. So my honest hope is that one day, when young people think about their future, they will say, I want to be part of mining, not because they have to, but because they believe this industry is helping build a better world.
Nelson, I believe pretty much everybody on this call and those that will listen to your voice, we can hear the conviction about, keeping power with the people, right? We are here, we lead the way, and thank you for that. We definitely are in that fifth a revolution, industrial revolution right now, and we've got to keep our decisions with us for the betterment of our future generation. So thank you, Nelson. Thank you. Carlos, so as we end this conversation, through your work advancing mining innovation and supporting the development and adoption of new technologies, you have seen how ideas move from concepts into solutions that create meaningful industry impact. Traditionally, innovation in mining has been measured through improvements in productivity, efficiency, safety, and operational performance. As we look toward the future of mining, how can the perspectives, leadership, and contributions of women help expand what successful innovation means, ensuring transformation also advances workforce readiness, community impact, inclusion, and long-term sustainability?
Okay, thank you. Oh, am I muted? Yes, I'm unmuted. Okay, thank you, Audrey, for that question. Just to echo back some of the things you just said, and the question is, look, traditionally, mining and innovation in mining has been measured through operational performance. So people have said more tons out the door, higher productivity, lower cost, improved safety. Great. Those metrics matter and they always will. But I believe the future of mining requires us to broaden our definition of success. And, in my talking to my peers, women in mining, what I gathered from them was that, look, when we look at innovation through a broader lens, success becomes more than operational efficiency. Success becomes about building a stronger workforce. It becomes about creating economic opportunity. Success becomes about strengthening communities. Success becomes about developing technology that people actually want to adopt and support. Success becomes about ensuring that mining creates long-term value for society. And I would argue that this broader definition of innovation and success must also include that word I mentioned earlier, social innovation. Not just innovation in what we build, but innovation in how we work together, how we develop leaders, how we attract and retain talent, how we create workplaces where people can contribute fully at different stages of their lives and careers. The most successful mining companies of the future will not simply be the ones with the best technology. Just to echo what Nelson said, they will be the ones that create the best environment for people to contribute, collaborate, and innovate. Perhaps the most innovative thing we can do as an industry is broaden our definition of value. Not simply whether a technology produces more tons, which is important, but asking whether it creates better outcomes. Better outcomes for who? Workers, communities, indigenous partners, future generations, better outcomes for sustainability. I don't believe women simply add diversity to innovation. I believe women help expand our definition of innovation itself. They help move us from asking, how can we mine better? How can our industry be better? To also asking, how can we create better outcomes? And perhaps the greatest innovation opportunity facing mining today is not even technological. It's our ability to bring people together with different experiences, different perspectives, and different ways of thinking to build a stronger, more resilient, and more competitive industry. Because when we do that, innovation becomes more than a tool for improving operations.
So sorry,
It becomes a
Chamirai,
tool
to
for improving
interrupt you.
lives.
So sorry to interrupt you and this beautiful panel. We are running out of time, so could we please do wrap it up? But thank you so much for this impactful conversation.
Thank you, Gafone. Charles, do you want to just finish off your last statement?
Yes. I want to end that, because when we look at innovation from a different lens, innovation becomes more than a tool for improving a mining operation or an industry. It becomes a tool for improving the lives of the people that work within mining.
Yes. Thank you, Charles. Such a wealth of wisdom with the three of these global leaders today. Thank you, Val, Charles, and Nelson, for your voice, your wisdom, and your experience. And well, I'm going to now pass it over back to Gafone, and thank you, everyone, for being with us here today.